I'm Joe, and these are Confessions of an Office Supply Junkie. I'm at the world headquarters of Cameradactyl Cameras in Albuquerque, New Mexico, and I heard a rumor that they're going to start making pens. And I'm here to check out the rumor. What are you doing?
I'm measuring the dimensions of a Fisher Space Pen refill.
Oh, well, you know that I'm Joe Van Cleve, and I'm an office supply junkie. Did I ever tell you that?
I think I'm infected. You got me hooked.
Because you started out making cameras.
Yeah.
And now you're making what? Pens?
Yeah, so a while ago I was drawing this shutter. Let's see if I can pull them up. It's a large format shutter. It's kind of the size of a pie plate, and it's got some wacky, mind's eye type of geometries in it.
Yeah.
Really, I can do a lot better in CAD than I can do on paper, but it's a series of plates, and each plate has its own series of mechanisms, and I kept drawing one plate, first couple of mechanisms, adding a plate, adding a mechanism, and then they would interfere with the first mechanisms, and so I would have to go back and draw the first one, and then forward and back and forth, and I thought, man, if I took a little bit of time and hand drew this first, it would make CAD not take weeks. And so then I got into all of my pens were dry, and then I started watching your YouTube videos about pens, and I bought a bunch of pens, and then we started making these notebooks.
Yes, that was last week. Yeah.
And
now you've gone down the rabbit hole.
Yeah, and then so I was at QLab the other day, and I was showing some people my notebooks, and we made these perfect bound notebooks while we were sitting around waiting for the board election. And everybody there was like some sort of office supply junkie, and they all had fancy pens. And my friend Hugh showed me his, beautifully machined brass bolt action pen.
Oh, yeah.
And so, I got curious and started making some pen designs. So right now I have this, this is the Fisher Space Pen, which I've had since Hanukkah 1994, and it still writes, same cartridge. But I think this is a really interesting pen, I guess. For 25 years, I didn't care about pens. I just used, hotel pens.
Right.
But in that, they were all dry, and I bought some new ones, and I was like, I'm just going to buy the best pen. I sent you a text, and you made some recommendations. Anyway, I've gone down the wormhole. So now, what are we going to do? I'm going to make a Fisher Space Pen in plastic on the 3D printer, and I'll make one version for the Fisher refill, and I'll make another version for just a Bic refill, like from one of these pens.
Yeah. And you have this bolt action one, right?
Yeah, so that's version 2. So this was version 1, which works, but there's some issues with it. Version 2 looks a little bit better, but has some problems. Version 3 is on the printer right now, and so I don't want to continue drafting this until we assemble the next one. And so maybe we'll work on these two pens today. And
very cool.
Get them done.
Making our own pens. It's not like you can't buy pens, right?
Yeah, I mean, you could buy a perfect pen for $2. Don't watch this video.
Yeah, exactly. And we brought some nice pens. I mean, look at zebras, right? There's some nice pens here, but those aren't handmade.
Yeah, I mean, this is the best pen, I think. I had 3 or 4 of them. I had to pull them all apart before I could make one that actually all the inks worked. But the Bic 4-color pen, can't beat it. This is a 3D printing knife.
I get to hold the parts.
Yes.
Don't drop them. And they're nice and warm.
Yep.
Just out of the oven.
It's like creepy crawlers.
Like creepy crawlers.
Okay, let's go make some pens.
Let's go make some pens.
So now I'm just going to trim these parts. I printed them with a brim so that they wouldn't fall over.
But that's what it has to sit on when it starts?
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't have to, but because it has such a small contact patch with the bed, I gave it a little extra just
so it wouldn't come loose?
Yeah. It would be sucky if, in an hour and a half of printing, it then broke off, which with a design like this could certainly happen. First thing I want to find out is...
will it clear?
Yeah. Looks like the answer is maybe no. Oh, yep, clears. That's great. Perfectly. And it's nice and
smooth.
wiggle free, yeah.
Yeah.
I've banged so many of these on the table, like all of my G2 refill nibs are messed up. But okay, the cap fits nicely. And I guess this is called the bolt. It's interesting, like, you know, because it's the same mechanism as is in like a bolt action rifle. It's super simple. They sell these pens as like tactical pens. The stupidest thing.
Tactical pins.
Tactical pens, tactical writing, super extreme 3D printed tactical pens. Incredibly dumb. Okay.
So when you're,
but I do like the action.
when the UN comes after all your guns, you'll be able to write it down.
I'll be able to write your face off. Get Chad's tactical pens. Okay, so all of those are working. I'm just going to trim this guy.
They're not going to take this pen from you unless they take it out of your cold, dead fingers.
You can have this pen. It's fine. It's not worth very much.
It's not worth very much.
I'm not a fighter.
This is not how they make Bic pens, is it?
Every Bic pen has 30 hours of handwork in it. Here at Penisor, we have the finest handcrafted plastic pens for your writing enjoyment and hers. So I came up with this name for my pen company, which is Penisor. It goes well with Cameradactyl. If you pronounce it differently, it's awesome.
It's awesome, yes.
But
we won't pronounce it that way today.
Instagram would not let me register that name. I'll have to come up with a few other ridiculous names. I feel like in the world of selling things on the internet, you've got to piss some people off to get some attention to sell some things. Traditionally, you should make a good product. I'm going for the controversy. Okay, this one's looking pretty good.
You could just name these after famous authors of the 20th century.
I would rather name it after famous sci-fi robots.
Oh, sci-fi robots.
Yeah, like Commander Data.
Commander Data, yes. What was the robot in Lost in Space, the original TV series?
Ooh, that's a good one. Yeah, the one that always says, danger, Will Robinson.
Yes.
Oops.
Warning, warning. Oops.
Well.
Oops isn't good, is it?
No. I just cracked this one in half. There's a layer adhesion problem you can see. Oh. It's not bonded there.
Sounds like QC.
Yeah, a major QC. Oh, that's fine. We printed a few more. What color should we make this one? We can choose red or green.
Red and green. Hey, it'd be the chili. Red and green chili pen.
Christmas pen.
Christmas pen.
Pen needs to be about a millimeter longer. Yeah, so that should just be like an easy click over.
Yeah.
But this pen body is maybe 1 to 2 millimeters too short. It's sort of the difference in that height versus this guy, and you can tell when I have it fully extended. Joe is now using 3 cameras to document a 3D printed pen.
Yes.
Okay, let's take a look here. The calipers, 1 millimeter there. Let's see if that would clear. So I think, 1 millimeter would make this mechanism move smoothly around the edge. It goes up and down just fine. And then I think, what do you think about how this point is sticking out? I kind of like it when they stick out a little bit, but
I do too.
I want to bring it
back a little bit, maybe a millimeter.
1 millimeter.
Yeah.
And then this mechanism will work. So I could change the mechanism and leave this sticking out like that. Is that stupid looking?
No, not with your hat on. No, actually, it looks good. I like it. I like the colors.
Yeah, I think this clip is...
What is that, Miami Dolphins color?
Oh, maybe.
Hey,
What is that? What is the Miami Dolphins swim team?
Spoken like a true non-football fan. Yes, that's pretty. I like the color scheme. What?
Yeah, I think that's a pretty decent pen. You want to try writing with it?
Yes. I like the feel of it. Yeah, I like the weight of it. Yeah, actually, it does work one-handed.
Yeah, it'll work much smoother, like this first one.
Right.
You know, it's just...
Right. It's a little snug, but that's because of this clearance issue here.
Yeah.
But no, I like it. I like the color of this actually.
Yeah, me too.
And it has a good weight. Do you think it would need to be any longer even? Probably not.
So I could do it a number of ways. I think the easiest way would just be add 1 millimeter to the length of the pen body. So, you know, you could think of like chopping it here and like a stretch limo, adding a millimeter, and then this will be nice and smooth. Alternately, you know, I could remove a millimeter from the bolt, but that would make the clip a little wigglier because the clip on this design is in the bolt.
I like the name Stretch Limo, by the way.
Yeah. The Penosaur Stretch Limo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think, I mean, like okay, it's got that issue that we need to work out, which we know we can work out because I have already made one the first shot, but I think that's like a good geometry. I like these ridges.
Yeah.
I really did not like it in this version with no ridges. It felt awful. Also, I got a lot of machine grease on this, and it gets my hands full of lithium grease every time I use it. It was unpleasant.
Penosaurs have ridges.
Yeah.
Well, we can't really use that as a slogan, can we? Like ruffles?
No.
No. Penosaurs have ridges. Okay, so while Ethan is going back to the CAD software, I'm going to sit here and play with this pen and see what I can.
Yeah. What do you think about the clip? Is really what I'm curious about. I think we finally got like a reasonable clip, but maybe it can be better.
Let's see here.
Yeah.
Let's go like that, and let's just. Actually, there's a little pin thing here. You know, it's gonna have to be a bigger clip than what you normally expect on the pen because of the kind of material you're using, right?
Absolutely.
But it fits in this little slot on my shirt pocket, okay? And yeah, I think so. I mean, let's see here. Let's try the other part of the pocket. It seems to slip in there nicely on a shirt pocket, and it does have a little bit of cling, which is good. Now the real challenge is going to be when you try putting it into your front pants pocket and then you sit down and you break the pin. But that would be like,
let's see,
like there, and then I don't know, it seems like it sits okay.
Seems reasonable.
Yeah. And it grips good enough, and you can pull it off easy enough. So we might be onto something here.
Let's do another silver and red one.
Yep. So this is where you're slicing it.
Yeah.
So you're going from the CAD file, the 3D file, to layers, right? Essentially. Okay. So this was the Rev 0, I guess you would call it, of the retractable ballpoint pen.
Rev 1, that's Rev 2.
Yeah, this is Rev 1. And this one operates fairly smoothly one-handedly. This one here, Rev 2, Ethan says there's a little bit of issues with the cartridge not extending properly in the barrel of the pen. So
there's all sorts of issues.
There's all sorts of issues, but we're currently 3D printing Rev 3, right? Oh yeah, this is Rev 0, which was based on another pen, right? And you built this clicker retractable part here.
It's got like a little needle point, and it is clicky, and I keep pens in my pocket, right? And so I'm always like clicking it off, and you break the needle point, stab yourself in the leg, and pour ink all over your
It looks like a
hands,
bad
which
tattoo job.
I've done a few times. I'd have a few pen tattoos in my leg for sure. And so like I didn't need like a tactical pen for fighting, or you know, like I like a certain
Conceal carry pen.
yeah, I like a you know, cylindrical pen, and I wanted one with like a bolt action, but I didn't want to spend $90 on like a beautiful brass one. Although
You don't want it to look like a bullet casing, like
yeah,
you know,
I mean,
you know, that's kind of
those are fine. I would spend, you know, $5 or $10 on a pen, but like I lose them. I would have to spend $600 a year on pens if I bought $100 pens. So yeah, I mean it's a little bit practical, but you know, in the 3 days that I spend making pens, I could probably just go buy those 6 brass $100 pens. But you know, other people will get to use them too.
Yeah. So we were talking about the idea of, like, to us, pens are more like the cartridge. Like when you find a good pen, you find a good cartridge, and the outer part of the pen is just the holder, right?
Case making.
It's case making,
Yeah,
right?
it's all about the Pilot V5 Precise RT.
That's his
Great.
favorite.
Yeah,
You know,
for sure.
mine, I'm not so sure I'm set on any particular ballpoint, but I really love fountain pens. So we're making a series of pen cartridge holders that will have different aesthetics, colors and color combinations and sizes, weights, and designs, right?
Nope, only everything's in black.
Everything's in black.
Super technical.
Yes.
Or gold.
Black and gold.
Yeah.
Bling.
I do have some purple that changes to pink at body temperature.
Mm.
I'll print some of those later.
Oh, that's
Once
interesting.
we've perfected the design.
So what he's doing now is he's working on the knurling, the texture of the knurling on the front of the pen body.
Okay, that looks pretty good to me.
Well, this is my view of a theoretical Zeppelin airship pen,
That's such
Sketch.
a good drawing.
and a stylized view of sort of a World War I airship. Lengthen it a little bit, have some little stubby fins, and the gondola is the clicker, and here is the slot that the clicker moves in. So I'm going to give this to Ethan and see what he can do with it.
I had to think about how to do that instead of a cylinder, but yeah.
Tricky.
Ooh, it makes the ends a little tricky, but we'll get there. Okay, what do you think about the space pen?
I like it. That's really cool. That's sort of really cool, actually.
We can take the cap off.
Yeah.
Let's take the insert. Well, you can look at it like this. It's rather short.
So what's really cool about this is the amount of fine control over the details of the design of the pen you can get. You know.
On the resin printer, we could get even closer, but I want to design something that people can print at home. You know, on the resin printer, we could get this sort of detail,
Right.
but
Not everybody has a resin printer.
yeah.
All right, Ethan, what do we got here?
Okay, so this is the 4th version of this 3D printed pen we've been fiddling around with. I'm going to trim it and see how it fits.
All right.
What color should we make?
Let's do, I like silver and yellow.
Okay. How about with a red slide, red
Yes.
bolt? Okay. You know, last night I was not convinced that we were ever going to come to a good pen, but even the last one, you know, the mechanism wasn't working, but the mechanism works in an original version. That's to write with. All right, so we just made this pen. I'm actually really happy with it. It's, you know, one-handed. It's not going to open in your pocket.
Yep.
It's not the most tactical pen, but it writes nicely with any Pilot G2 style refill, preferentially the Pilot V5 RT needlepoint refill. But yeah, it doesn't open in your pocket, so you won't break the tip off and tattoo your leg or paint your pocket. It's got a really pretty decent clip for what I thought it was going to be originally.
Yeah.
We started kind of here, which was okay, but really kind of a gross pen. It was much longer. It didn't have, you know, I like how this grip came out. It's like practical. maybe uses 30 or 40 cents worth of plastic at most. The spring and a cartridge out of a, pilot pen. I think people will dig printing these at home.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll sell some, but I'd much rather just sell the files and
Yeah.
people make them and whatever customizations they want. 2 hours worth of work to make one pen is not reasonable for me to do commercially.
So what do you think about the Office Supply Junky wanting a new source of pens? Here you go.
Yeah, I think we've got to work on the Graf Zeppelin
Yes.
pen that you drew earlier.
Yeah.
I've got a few designs to work on first, but I think I'll make one of these that takes the Parker G2 refills, which are a little shorter, and make a mini version. And then I'll do a version with the clip on the body with just a single
Like a
screw slide, like this one that I made out of a
Right.
disposable pen with a knife.
Yeah. That's
I think
nice.
that's a nice action. Then, yeah, we got a bullet pen on the printer. I'm gonna make some other weird stuff, maybe some fountain pens one day.
All right. This is a homemade, handmade, 3D printed, retractable ballpoint pen, and this is the next step, the next generation for office supply junkies. Print your own pen. So Ethan, thank you for hosting me today.
You're welcome.
And it was fun with getting my pen now and my homemade sketchbook and all that.
We'll get back to cameras.
Yeah, we'll get back to cameras eventually.
Yeah.
Okay, bye-bye.